City will be hoping it's not going to be fourth time unlucky this evening. Another new manager team that they're facing this evening. They've done that 3 times this season. They've lost all 3. And Eastleigh parting company with Richard Hill after Saturday's 3-0 defeat. They're going to be well up for this game to show what they are all about to their new manager.
Yeah, definitely, as the two teams just about get ready to kick off here. But you're exactly right, Kieran. I mean, Kelvin Davies, the new man in charge, his first game in the dugout. They'll be playing for the places, to be honest. I mean, I spoke to the Eastleigh media team just before the game about it. They're very excited down at the Silver Lake Stadium. So the whistle goes to get us underway here at the Royal Charging Stadium, and a really big game at the foot of the National League table. And already Eastleigh are coming forward here, looking to land the first punch of the game. Here is Wabakai, the midfielder, takes the ball out to the left. Here's Ben Reeves, he'll cut back. So perhaps we'll go through those teams, and I'll start with Eastleigh, who are in all orange today, their away kit. Kelvin Davies naming his first team in charge of Eastleigh today. In goals, Joe McDonnell. It's Nigel Attingana, Ludwig Francilette, Ben Reeves, the captain Jake Taylor, Paul McCallum, the league's leading marksman up front, George Lanston, Lee Hodson, Solomon Wabakai, Scott Quigley and Oscar Rutherford. And here come Eastleigh again down the right. It's a good cross into the box, headed towards goal. It could be the first goal of the game, and it is. And already, after 51 seconds, Eastleigh take the lead, and it is that man, the league's leading marksman, Paul McCallum, who gets the goal on his 100th Eastleigh appearance to put the Spitfires ahead. And the Kelvin Davies era at Eastleigh has got off to the perfect start.
Well, that's a terrible start for Oxford City, isn't it? Ball in from the right-hand side, and Paul McCallum, he knows how to score goals, and he won't get many easier than that. And just a minute on the clock, and already City find themselves a goal down. And after all that good work on Saturday for that clean sheet and good performance, City once again, so soon, have to come from behind in this one.
Well, I clocked 50 seconds on the clock for that one, so 50 seconds it's taken for Eastleigh to get the first goal under their new manager. So he will be absolutely buzzing with that start. But it's the one man who you don't want to leave alone in the box, in Paul McCallum, who was just lingering around the 6-yard box, as all good strikers do. And there he was, ready and waiting to tap home the opener after just 50 seconds. So from an Oxford City point of view, they will need to wake up quickly. The positive for City is they've got pretty much 90 minutes to try and get back into this one after conceding so early on, but it has been a bright start from the Spitfires. And they'll come forward again with Wabakai, but he can't burst forward. Worst start possible from Ross Jenkins. And after that 0-0 draw with Southend with so many positives, he was hoping that the exact opposite would have started. Seems quite an obvious, well, it seems like an obvious throwaway comment, but City just need to keep their heads up here. They have suffered this early setback, but they're by no means out of this game by a long shot. Rennie Smith goes down under the challenge of McCallum, and it looks like he's been knocked over, maybe a little bit winded there. He's back up to his feet though and looks good to continue.
Yeah, I think he got a bit of a whack on the chin actually, Andy, and the referee James Durkin helped him to his feet, so luckily, in good news for City, he is back on his feet.
Yes, that's good news, Rennie Smith. And as Kieran was alluding to before, it's an unchanged team for Oxford City from that impressive draw against Southend United. Tom Watson, on loan from Wigan, keeps his place in between the sticks. He won't be very happy. He went 90 minutes without conceding against Southend. He's gone 50 seconds and conceded here today. So unfortunate for the Wigan goalkeeper, Wigan loanee, who couldn't do pretty much. He couldn't really do much about that goal, could he, Kieran? I mean, McCallum was lingering around in the 6-yard box and was just Mr. Johnny on the spot to tap home from close range. Good striker's instinct.
Yeah, it was a good ball in from the right, wasn't it? A good cross, and as you say, McCallum in completely the right place, and no goal scorer worth their salt is going to miss that chance, but particularly not a player of McCallum's calibre and it was a fairly simple chance.
Yeah, making his 100th appearance today, Paul McCallum has scored goals wherever he's been pretty much, especially at this level. You can't afford to give him that much space. But it is Eastleigh doing the early running between the two sides, but that time Ben Reeves was trying to craft his way forward from down the left wing but couldn't find a way forward. And this Eastleigh team, to be fair to them, we're just approaching the 5-minute mark here at the Royal Charging Stadium, but already you get the impression that they are really coming out fighting for their new manager and to try and keep their place in the team. Here's Josh Parker. He tries to wriggle past Nigel Attingana on the halfway line, eventually does, but the midfielder for Eastleigh just pulls Parker back, and the referee has no option but to give a free kick. And now City are starting to find their feet and the ball in this one. Reece Fleet, that is a fantastic ball from the City captain over to the right. Williams-Bichelle with his first chance to try and work his way into the box, and that's a brilliant cross from Aaron Williams-Bichelle. Unfortunately for City, Josh Parker and Jacob Roddy couldn't quite get to that ball first, and I think it is the centre half, Ludwig Franciolette, that's just got the important touch on there to steer the ball away from the Eastleigh target, and that's the first sighter that City have had. Perhaps not quite a chance, but certainly a statement of intent from Ross Jenkins' side there. Meanwhile, Eastleigh full of positivity since that early goal, their quickest of the season, no doubt, to put them ahead. But City have just started to calm down a little bit, perhaps a little bit shell-shocked from that early goal. This must be frustrating as a manager as well, you know, setting your stall out before the game and then to go 1-0 down that quickly. Of course, Kelvin Davis in his first managerial job will be thinking it's quite easy, but already just 6 minutes into this game at the Royal Charging Stadium. So it's Oxford City 0, Eastleigh 1. This is on BBC Sounds via BBC Oxford, and there's also been an early goal at the Kassam Stadium. But good news for Oxford United, they've gone 1-0 up against Northampton. Josh Murphy with the goal. That's over on Freeview Channel 722 or your DAB digital radio on 95.2 FM. Also, Alfreton have taken the lead locally against Banbury, but here at this game, Eastleigh continue to try and work their way forward. Reece Fleet has nowhere to go, and the ball bounces around inside the area, and it's another chance here, and Eastleigh could score again, and they do score again. And it's McCallum who has his second goal in just 7 minutes, and it was a mistake at the back. City couldn't clear their lines, and all of a sudden they played their way into danger, and then before you know it, the ball's bouncing around the 6-yard box again. It falls to Paul McCallum, and he taps home Eastleigh's second goal of the game after just 7 minutes. Kelvin Davies and Eastleigh in dreamland. Oxford City already giving themselves a mountain to climb in the first 10 minutes. It's Oxford City 0, Eastleigh 2.
Well, that was terrible defending, Andy, wasn't it? And City have got only themselves to blame for that one. The first goal, fair enough, it was a decent cross and a good poacher's finish, but that one, City really could have dealt with that much, much better. And after only 8 minutes, all the good work from Saturday has gone up in smoke, really, because City struggled to score goals, and 2-0 down after 8 minutes. It's a hell of a long way back for them now.
But there is still time for Oxford City, but like you were saying, Kieran, poor defender. I'm just looking at the replay back. Reece Fleet playing the ball to the Wigan loanee Tom Watson, who smashes the ball straight into, I think it's his own player, into Brooklyn Kabongolo, and eventually it bounces off Kabongolo, who could do nothing about that. And fair play to Scott Quigley, the Eastleigh striker. He reacted quickest, knew that McCallum would be in that 6-yard box area, poked the ball across the 6-yard box, and McCallum has had his second tapping of the game. He's pretty much had two shots, Paul McCallum, and they've both ended up in the back of the net, and he's probably had those from inside the 6-yard box. So again, I'll rinse and repeat what I said for the first goal. Paul McCallum doing his running, getting into the 6-yard box, into those good areas that strikers should be. Meanwhile, there's a foul off the box, audible chants from the crowd as Reece Fleet goes flying into, I think, Ludwig Franciolette. I can't see quite the number of the shirt who's down over there. That's certainly going to be a booking for Reece Fleet. Got nowhere near the ball. Took all the man.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's Nigel Attingana who's the man who's taken No, it's definitely not Nigel Attington. Unfortunately, I can't see the number, Kieran. You might be able to
No, I definitely
identify
can't, because these black numbers on orange shirts are very difficult.
It is quite difficult.
My aging eyes.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it's Wabakai who's taken that as he's coming over to this left-hand side. It is. I can see this number on his short. So Wabakai's taken the hit there. Reece Fleet into the book. And we are just ticking into the 10th minute here at the Royal Charging Stadium. Eastleigh with another chance here. I think Ben Reeves is the man over this free kick. It is. He's going to be a left-footed in-swinger. And if City can't deal with this, there's another chance for these big men that are floating up from the back to attack this cross. They need to defend well, City, or it could well be 3-0 here within the first 10 minutes. Ream in the air, crossing towards the box, and that was about to fall to Paul McCallum, but it was great defending from Josh Ashby to nip in front of the striker and head it out for a corner. But McCallum, he's not really doing too much in terms of skill in this game. He's just finding those brilliant areas inside the box. He almost anticipates where the ball's going to fall, and he's always there. And he is making a real nuisance of himself. Eastleigh have a corner. We're not going to be able to take it just yet because the referee spotted some tussling inside the 6-yard box between the goalkeeper and the orange shirts. He'll keep a close eye on that one, I'm sure. But Eastleigh have a corner again, and City have more defending to do. Again, it's going to be Reeves, left-footed in-swinger into the 6-yard box, and it's in! And it's 3-0 to Eastleigh with only 11 minutes on the clock. And that is absolutely devastating from an Oxford City point of view, because they've had 3 shots on goal and all 3 have found their way past Tom Watson and into the back of the net. Couldn't quite see who got the last touch on that. Going to look at the replay, but one thing is for sure, it's Oxford City 0, Eastleigh 3, and we've not even played 12 minutes here at the Royal Charging Stadium.
Well, I'll let you look at the replay, Andy. Game, set, match inside 11 minutes. Unbelievable. Corner in from the far side. A good delivery, to be fair. It was a good delivery, but a free header, wasn't it? And
well, it's Ludwig Francilete who's got the finishing touch on that. It was a good header from Francilete, but all too simple for Eastleigh. Cross into the box, met by an orange shirt first and into the back of the net. Absolutely disastrous start for Oxford City. And again, I'm going to cast the minds back. I hate to do this, going back to the Dagenham and Redbridge game where City ended up losing 7-1. But
well, they weren't 3-0 down after 12 minutes, Andy.
They weren't, but it had that feeling that everything that Dagenham touched that day turned to gold, and it's got that same feeling about it here. And like I said just before, Kelvin Davies must be thinking this managerial lark is a walk in the park, because they are absolutely flying here at the Royal Charging Stadium of Eastleigh.
New manager bounce yet again, isn't it? And yeah, there really doesn't appear any way back for City from this, and it's hard to say that after just 12 minutes. They did go 2-0 down, of course, away to Eastleigh earlier in the season, and did manage to pull back to draw that one 2-2. They've got a corner now. They need to score very, very quickly if they want to have any hope, really, of getting back into this one.
I suppose the thing is now for City, they've got nothing to lose, because they're 3-0 down after 12 minutes. They've got 80-odd minutes to try and work their way back into it. But they're going to have to score at least 3 goals to get something out of this one. Corner to City anyway. Ashby into the box, looking for a blue shirt, flies over everyone and all the way out to Reeves on that right-hand side. City look shell-shocked here. It's been a pretty stone-cold lesson in how to finish your chances from an Eastleigh point of view. Well, the Richard Hill era was really going badly coming into this one. Eastleigh at bottom of the form table, and it led to the club changing managers for a second time this season. They got rid of Lee Bradbury at the beginning of the year, and then they got rid of Richard Hill just last week. But Kelvin Davies is the new man to take charge in the managerial hot seat there. But as I was saying before kick-off, there's some really good players in this Eastleigh team, especially the man who's got 2 goals already, Paul McCallum. They'll be hoping that they can spring a last-minute playoff push. Perhaps looks a little bit unlikely because they are in and around the relegation zone, but with the size of the budgets that Eastleigh have to their arsenal, you can never count them out. But
well, I was going to say, Andy, you're talking about their form. They haven't won a league game since 23rd of December. I can see we had a similar situation at Woking, hadn't won for so long. And then they beat Oxford City quite comfortably. And I'm just looking around at the supporters near me. It's a bit of gallows humour going on, sort of almost laughing at the state of this performance so far. It's really not very good at all.
Well, Oxford City, I've just gone through the fixtures quickly there, Kieran, which you may have seen me doing, just to see how many times Oxford City have scored at least 3 goals this season. They've done that 5 times. They've scored 4 once against Boreham Wood and 5 once against Hartlepool United earlier on in the year, so perhaps there could be one of those attacking performances coming. But if they do want to do that, they're going to have to do it quickly, because there's only one team in it at the moment, and that is the visitors, who will be in absolute dreamland here. It has been a fantastic start, and like I say, has pretty much shell-shocked the whole of the stadium here, and any anticipation of this being a tight game has evaporated. But like I say, Oxford City just have to go for it now. 3-0 down. I think there'll be some massive inquisitions at half-time, perhaps from players and management. But there will certainly be some choice words said at half-time. But even then, there's half an hour to go as Jacob Roddy latches onto a ball and is brought down midway through the Eastleigh half. Free kick to Oxford City. And you do get the feeling, Kieran, that Oxford City need to take a chance already, because if you do slash this 3-goal lead into a 2-goal lead, you just never know what could happen. But if you go in 3-0 at half-time, it's pretty much game, set and match. You just never know. Anyway, Josh Ashby is going to take this free kick. You may be able to tell I'm also trying to stay positive and trying to stay upbeat,
well,
because when you talk about that gallows humour, it is quite typical when you go 3-0 down after 12 minutes. But anyway, here we go. Oh, Josh Ashby, arm in the air. Pretty much everyone forward for City. Headed clear by McCallum on the edge of the area for Josh Parker, but he gets that shot.
Call that a shot on goal, Andy.
Well, he gets that shot. It was a shot on. It was a shot. It wasn't on goal. It was off target because Josh Parker's left foot completely connected with that incorrectly, let's say, and it spins off the outside of his foot and doesn't go anywhere near Joe McDonald's goal and goes wide. But that was good defending from McCallum. I'll pick up on him again. He was the man in the thick of the action in the opposite box already, doing his, not skimping on his defensive duties here. Interesting tactic from this goal kick, as I'm looking straight at it. The City defensive line is quite high. Scott Quigley was standing in an offside position. He stayed there. He's definitely onside there, but City managed to clear their lines. Here's Harvey Greenslade, foot in by the defender George Langston, and it goes out for an Oxford City throw in, and we finally had a few minutes where Oxford City haven't conceded in this game.
Take the positives.
All the way back to Giles Phillips, all the way to the keeper Tom Watson, who had such a good game against Southend. He was named man of the match afterwards and made some really good saves. Perhaps the inquisition will be for that second goal when his clearance went straight into the face of Brooklyn Cabongolo and into the path of Scott Quigley. Perhaps he should have done better with that clearance, but there's probably a catalogue of errors that even led to that. Reece Fleet dropping deep to try and steer the ball out of play. He went so deep he had no choice but to play the ball back to his keeper, when perhaps he should have just taken no chances with it and hit it out of the stadium. But those inquisitions can wait. Here, Oxford City need to just salvage a bit of pride in this game, if anything. I will stress, though, there's a long time to go in this one, and if City can't get back into it, they need to make sure they don't concede any more. Ball forward, looking for Quigley. He'll run into the back of Andre Burley, and he out-muscles Burley, in fact. Quigley, ball over to the far post, looking for Paul McCallum. Good idea from the Eastleigh striker, but the cross just had a little bit too much power on it, and eventually flies over the head of McCallum, who's already on a hat-trick in this game, and goes out for a goal kick. Well, from an Eastleigh point of view, you must be absolutely raving about this first half. Paul McCallum with a chance to grab a hat-trick on his 100th Eastleigh appearance. It's been a pretty good start from him today. For City, they're looking for their first win since that game here against Eastleigh. Against Ebbsfleet in the at the end of January, almost a month ago. That's their last win in the National League. In fact, they're unbeaten in 2 games at home. They've been pretty decent at home. It's the away form that's left Oxford City down this season. You wouldn't realise that by the start to this game, though. It's been the opposite. And the only game I can think that has played out this way is perhaps that game against Maidenhead United all the way back in December, just before Christmas, where Maidenhead really sprung a surprise to beat City 4-1 on the day. Ashby plays the ball across the halfway line. Josh Parker sets it straight back to Fleet. Over to the right hand side now with Burley going forward, looking for an option. Has one in Fleet. Rennie Smith now. City trying to creep their way up the pitch, but they're surrounded by orange shirts that aren't just attacking well, but they're keeping their shape well as also, forcing City from one side to the other, not giving them an inch to creep up the pitch. Ball forward by Cabongolo, he's cut out. Reeves, who's started this game in very energetic fashion down both wings. Attangana. In the previous game between these two teams, it looks as though Eastleigh were about to run out very easy 2-0 winners until City sparked a late comeback through a fantastic goal from Lewis Coyle and a last gasp equaliser through Latrell Humphrey-Ewers. Well, both of those players are on the bench today for Oxford City. Maybe we'll already see some movement at half time on the bench, because I think Ross Jenkins might have to tweak it to go a little bit more attacking to just try and find a way back into this one.
I think he'll have to, Andy. If it stays like this, I don't think we can possibly expect to see the same 11 start in the second half, because really, City have got a little bit of possession now, but really it's been all Eastleigh apart from that one skewed shot from Josh Ashby, and I just can't imagine a penny for Ross Jenkins' thoughts after such a positive display on Saturday. He must be scratching his head in disbelief really at this.
Well, I think everyone knows Ross Jenkins' demeanour on the touchline. He's the coolest man on the touchline, but I think he'll be ruining the simplicity of the goals that McCallum scored and the defending of set pieces. I mean, it's training ground stuff really. City will know that they will need to do better, and it'll be interesting at half time as well, Kieran, going back to have a look at some of the clips to see who actually was at fault. Probably numerous players, not just to pinpoint them on one individual. It has been that way, but I wonder how Eastleigh are going to play this now. City are having a lot of the ball. They've probably had the lion's share of possession over the past 5, maybe even 10 minutes, and that's a mistake from Reece Fleet inside the middle of the park, and now Eastleigh have a chance to come forward again. This could really do the damage. Into the box quickly, and he pokes a shot towards goal, but eventually it flies high and wide over Tom Watson's post. A let-off there for Oxford City. Individual error from Reece Fleet, who slipped in the middle of the park. But when Quigley brought the ball down, really well in fact, inside the box, he couldn't find the finish to match whilst he was off balance.
And Andy, you asked how you think Eastleigh might approach the rest of this game. If they are to harbour any outside hopes of the playoffs, their goal difference is actually really, really poor. -11, which is the worst goal difference in the top half of the table. And so I would imagine 3-0 up, they will be very, very keen to maybe try and double this. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely. They will be trying to get as many goals, points, whatever on the board. They are into the top half of the table now, but there's another chance now for Wabakai. He'll continue his run forward. Wabakai still going all the way. Wabakai hits a shot towards goal. Did Tom Watson get a touch on that? He did. Corner to Eastleigh. Good save by the Wigan loanee. But again, it's Eastleigh, the visitors, that keep searching for a 4th goal in this game. Another corner, and if you cast your mind back to just a few minutes ago, the corner is where City came unstuck when Ludwig Francilete rose highest to head home from the 6-yard box. If he can do that again, it will compound a miserable start to this first half, never mind the game. So another corner set to be floated in by the left foot of Reeves. Again an in-swinger into a good area, headed back out for another corner though by Giles Phillips. They are troubling these City, these deliveries from Ben Reeves. You can see what the game plan is. Get it into the 6-yard box. Someone will be there in an orange shirt to meet it. Reeves again has Rutherford as a short option, but I doubt he'll go for it with the success they've been having. Ball into the box, headed away again, this time by Cabongolo, and it's a throw-in this time for Eastleigh. So City penned into their own half here, but they've started defending. Perhaps a little bit too late. 25 minutes in, they're 3-0 down. Disastrous start to this game. And in fact, it's the man who's on a hat-trick that's going on to take this throw. It's going to be a long throw. He does the Rory Delap tactic. Paul McCallum, the striker, of putting the ball in his shirt, giving it a wipe to try and get all the water vapour, if you like, off the ball to get some more trajectory on this throw. And trajectory, it's a good throw in fact, headed straight back out by Reece Fleet, and McCallum will just let the ball run across his body. He'll let it go for another throw because he thinks that there's a chance that Eastleigh can attack these throw-ins like a corner. He got some real trajectory on that throw, real power
and pace as well.
Yeah, exactly. So again, throwing into the box, looking for the head. Roddy gets his head to it though. Greenslade can't quite clear the ball away. Does eventually go back to Lee Hodgson on the half. Eastleigh will keep coming forward now. McCallum lays the ball into the captain, Jake Taylor, who's not really seen the ball too much in this game. Taylor sets it back to the right back, but Josh Parker's back there defending. Taylor goes down off the ball. Free kick again to Eastleigh. A free kick just outside the box, but from a crossing area here. And that's the key word, isn't it, Kieran? Crossing. That's where Eastleigh, with their sheer height and strength, that's where they're going to attack and use to their advantage. It's where they've been getting an advantage in this game too, and another opportunity for them here. In fact, Josh Parker's got away with one there. No yellow card given. Linesman gave the foul rather than the referee today. Ben Reeves again to take it. It's going to be another left-footed in-swinger. Again, everyone forward for Eastleigh. If they can get a fourth here, what a start it would be for them. Reeves, hand in the air, cross in. It's not a bad cross again. It's headed towards goal, off the crossbar, and eventually headed towards goal by Quigley. He wants a penalty, and so do the Eastleigh fans out behind that goal. He thinks he's taken a kick in the head there. He did put his head where it hurt to try and steer that cross from Reeves towards the target. It went just right, but the real danger man today has been Ben Reeves, the Eastleigh number 7. His crossing has been pretty sublime. It's been put into some dangerous areas, and Quigley came so close to a fourth there from Eastleigh. And if it wasn't already, it would definitely have been game, set and match there, Kieran.
You're listening to BBC Radio Oxford Sport. First time I've had an opportunity to say this with the breathless start to this game. You're listening to BBC Radio Oxford Sport on the BBC Sport website and app, and on BBC Sounds. Oxford City 0, Eastleigh 3. All 3 goals coming in the first 11 minutes. And to be honest, Oxford City haven't really had a chance, a gilt-edged chance, haven't tested the goalkeeper at all. And it has been a terrible evening so far for Ross Jenkins' men in this game that they were desperate to follow up after a positive result on Saturday against Southend United, but it's gone all south, unfortunately, and City have a long way back in this one. There is now a run into the penalty area, and good defending there by the Eastleigh man, and it's going to go out for Oxford City's second corner of the evening, and Josh Ashby will run over to take this corner. Cabongolo just wandering up towards the edge of the penalty area. He's a big target man for Oxford City now, 6'6" tall, the centre half, signed from Southend United, made his debut on Saturday. Cabongolo is just taking his place in the middle of the area. It's played short this time by Ashby to Parker, then to Reece Fleet on the edge of the penalty area. Fleet has a crack, but a very weak effort really, and comfortably dealt with by Southend, and they're going to bring the ball away, and an opportunity perhaps for them to set up another attack with Waboke. A good ball over the top looking for Scott Quigley, but this time cleared up by Ashby, who chests it down to Rennie Smith. Back to Ashby again. Ashby's got Aaron Williams-Bashal on this right touchline and plays a little 1-2 with Williams-Bashal, and City being forced back towards their own goal line. And Waboke just putting a little bit of pressure on. Back to Tom Watson, who after his clean sheet on Saturday has conceded 3 goals in the opening 11 minutes of this one. I suppose one positive we can say is they have stopped the flow of goals, Oxford City, if nothing else, because at 3-0 after 11 minutes it really could have been a cricket score.
Yeah, I've used the phrase shell shocked. I think that's what it was. City just was stunned by the start by Eastleigh and scoring after 50 seconds on the clock, and just seemed to take its toll because it was just attack after attack where they were coming forward, and City just kept conceding. But now they've actually got a hold of themselves and they're starting to compose themselves a little bit more. They've had a couple of corners, yet to test Joe McDonnell in the Eastleigh goal, but again, it's just a case of they concede one, Oxford City, and they seem to go and concede more goals pretty soon after. And when you're going into the game 1-0 down, perhaps you can work your way back into it, but 2-3 down, then it's a mountain to climb.
Corner to Oxford City then. Ashby with it. He'll curl it into the penalty area. Phillips goes down in the penalty area, but it's a comfortable take for the Eastleigh goalkeeper, Joe McDonnell. That's Eastleigh, of course, called the Spitfires. City will need to put up a bit of a dogfight in the second half in this one. Sorry, Andy, I had to say that. And if they can just get one back before half-time, you never know, because they did pull back from 2-0 down in Eastleigh back in September when they were pretty much outplayed in the first half, but a couple of goals pulled it level and they managed to get a good point.
Yeah, I think I spoke to Ross Jenkins about that game, and that was a weird one, because City went 7 games unbeaten in the National League with that point, and it's one of the games where Ross Jenkins thought they were poor and probably perhaps didn't deserve anything out of that. And there's been games as well where City have been okay and probably deserved a little bit more out of, so it just goes to show how football is. But scoreline's pretty much correct at the moment.
It is. And an opportunity for an attack there was snuffed out pretty comprehensively again by Eastleigh, but they do have a throw. Oxford City midway inside the Eastleigh half of the field. The referee, James Durkin, just making sure that Roddy doesn't advance too far up the line, which he doesn't, and City maybe getting a little bit more of a foothold into the game. But as I say, 3-0 down's a long way back. Opportunity now in the penalty area, another corner. This is the 4th corner for Oxford City, so they have forced a succession of corners. They just need one of these deliveries to be a little bit more pinpoint, maybe try and find the head of Kabangolo when he comes up from the back, because he is a big target man, and Josh Ashby's deliveries so far haven't been 100% perfect, and he is very capable of planting one right on the head of one of the City front men or Kabangolo, and you never know. Here it is, it's a corner then to Ashby. Left arm in the air, curling in. It's a good delivery this time, and then a bit of a tussle in the penalty area, and the referee has given a free kick, I think, against Phillips there, and it's going to be a free kick to the visitors.
Yeah, given against Phillips. I think he's been getting into a few tussle. Phillips. He went down in the box just in the previous corner. But see, you're getting a few corners here. Reece Fleet just clapping his hands, trying to G up the City players, because they are getting a lot of corners. But as with when Eastleigh are attacking set pieces, the same goes for when they're defending. They're a big, tall, physical team, and it's going to be difficult to break them down with set pieces alone. City need to be just a little bit more savvy when it comes to those, I think, because they're starting to get the ball forward now. They do need a goal, quite obviously they need 3, but they can get a goal before half time. They're starting to see a little bit more luck when they get into the final third. They're winning those set pieces. If they can just get one back and then maybe even nick one in the second half, it could set it up for a grandstand finish.
Possibly. We said that at Dagenham, of course, and then they ended up being 5-1 down after about 50 minutes. But we'll see. Anyway, City are on the prowl at the moment. A shot from distance there. It's hit the side netting, though. Good strike from Josh Ashby. He knows his way to goal from the edge of the penalty area, but it's hit the side netting. But that is the first proper shot across the bows that maybe had the goalkeeper, Joe McDonnell, just a little bit concerned for a split second.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great shot. Didn't quite outfox the goalkeeper, hit the side netting. I think perhaps he would even thought he could have done a little bit better with that, Josh Ashby. Power was there, placement wasn't. But as what I was just saying before, Kieran, Eastleigh will be thinking the exact opposite. They'll be wanting a 4th game set and match. Let's get it done before half time. Let's have an easy second half. Yeah,
they're doing to Oxford City, I think, what Oxford City did to Ebbsfleet a few weeks ago now, actually, and really have shell-shocked. City defending their corner at the moment, because there's a chance there for Eastleigh, but it's out of play off Jacob Roddy from Jacob Roddy off the backside almost of Paul McCallum for a throw into Oxford City in front of the Macron stand. Not a particularly big crowd this evening, certainly nowhere near the 1,800 plus on Saturday, with Southend bringing those 1,200 spectators with them. But in credit to the City fans, they haven't left the ground, which I guess would be too early to do so, even if you are 3-0 down, because you want to get some value for your buck. And who knows, they might get something in the second half. Here is Ben Reeves on this left touchline now. Back to Ludwig Franzaletti, back to Reeves again. Reeves, left-footed ball over the top, looking for Quigley, and Quigley's in the penalty area. The referee has spotted the offside flag this time, and it's going to be a free kick to Oxford City. And we had 2 offside decisions on Saturday, both of which I backed the referee, and then I saw the replays later in the day, and one in particular where the ball was in the net was clearly onside. And it's when you're at the bottom of the table, those sort of decisions just always seem to go against you, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, City may look back at that. The ball goes through to the goalkeeper, McDonald, but there was 2 in particular where, like you say, just Parker was onside. Rennie Smith's goal should have counted, and Harvey Greenslade was played through one-on-one.
Now quickly down this, Ben Reeves rather, down this left-hand side. Good piece of defending there from Burley and Williams-Bashauer. Gets to shepherding the ball back to the goalkeeper, but back in possession with Franchiletti. He goes back to his keeper, McDonnell. Out to this left side. Little ball into the centre of the field, and now Solomon Waboki gets on his gets the afterburners on. He goes past one challenge. He's not going to get past Burley though. He gets the right side of the ball. Burley shepherds the ball back to his goalkeeper. Parker controls it well in midfield, finds Rennie Smith. Parker gets the ball back from Smith, and then Ashby on this right touchline. Nice little ball through from Josh Ashby, and forces a bit of an unforced error there actually, because the Eastleigh defender had a little bit more time than perhaps he thought there, with Rennie Smith a little bit behind play, but he's opted for the safer option, the Eastleigh man, and has popped it out for another Oxford City corner on this near side touchline now.
You know what, I thought that was a really good move from Oxford City. Parker taking the ball down with his chest on the halfway line, played in Ashby, and then they had the third man running, Rennie Smith making the run forward. Ashby found him, and like you say, forced the error. It was a really good move, and they've won another corner here, City.
Northampton pulled level at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford 1, Northampton 1. Ashby with an outswinging corner this time, and it's a good header, and it's going to bounce up over the bar, and it's gone in fact off a deflection for another Oxford City corner. They've had 6 corners to Eastleigh's 1 in this game, and you wouldn't believe that with the scoreline as it is, but City just need to try and get a goal back before half time, because they have certainly weathered a bit of a storm in the last few minutes, and they are holding their own a little bit now, but they need to make one of these corners count. It's going to be another corner from Ashby. I think it's going to be another outswinger, left arm in the air again. Referee's just making sure that there's no shenanigans in the penalty area. He's just having a little word with a couple of players, one for City, one for Eastleigh. And my eyesight with these numbers on these shirts really does test me on an evening game, Andy, but couldn't work out who the referee was speaking to there. Here is Ashby with the corner then. Cabangolo's up there again on the edge of the penalty area. Just peels off from his marker, Cabangolo. It goes over his head, and then a free kick given away again. Bit of a clumsy challenge, I think, from Cabangolo there. And then Giles Phillips has said something, I think, to the referee, because he's now going to get himself a yellow card. So a little bit of frustration boiling over as well there, and Phillips is the second Oxford City man into the book.
Well, I'm just going to watch the replay with that one, but I'm judging by the Oxford City fans behind that goal. They're not happy. I don't think Giles Phillips is happy either. He thinks that he's been treated harshly inside the area. Perhaps they thought there was going to be a penalty given there, or should have been given. Just looking back at it, it didn't really look much of anything inside the box at the moment, but
I think there's just a bit of frustration boiling over potentially.
Just a few battles going on in the 6-yard box as per any corner, it looks like.
Now there's a chance here from a quick counter off the free kick rather, but City do manage to clear their lines, and Reece Fleet tries to thread the ball through to Rennie Smith, but he's overhit it, and it's gone back to the goalkeeper off of Lee Hodson. And Eastleigh coming away with it again. They lead by 3-0 here at the Roar Charging Stadium. A disastrous opening 11-minute burst from the Spitfires, and City have a long way back, and they've been in this position quite a few times this year, and more often than not, it is game, set, match. But let's have a look. Ball coming into the penalty area. Rennie Smith tries to get his head to the ball. It's come off the back of Aaron Williams-Bushell and then cleared away up towards the halfway line, headed forward by Cabangolo. And now a chance here for Eastleigh to break again. And the free kick's been given there against the City man. I think Ben Reeves was just about to start bursting down the left side, but the referee has decided to pull the play back for a free kick in the centre circle.
Just from what you were saying there, Kieran, I think City have been well and truly, behind in games a handful of times. Oldham, Maidenhead, Dagenham, of course. But I think before the start of the season, we all knew it was going to happen. With just the real difference in size and budgets between these two teams. What's troubling me about this performance is that since going 3 goals down, Oxford City have actually done okay. Perhaps there's an element that Eastleigh have taken their foot off the gas quite a lot because they got off to a really fast start after 10 minutes. But since then, Oxford City have started to work their way into the game, not really testing McDonald too much. It's that kind of aspect of it which is frustrating about Oxford City because they know they're a good team. They can, but they just switch off. And when they do switch off, it's not usually just one goal that goes in; it's a couple, and then the game's pretty much out of their hands.
Yeah, they've been rocked back. Ashby goes down under a challenge. No free kick given, and Eastleigh coming away with it again. McCallum with the ball out to the right-hand side. Jacob Roddy just trying to shepherd the position, and a ball into the penalty area towards McCallum, but cleared away. Not cleared away very well though. Now there's a chance for 4, and it is 4. And that is game, set, match. 4-0. And from nowhere really, Eastleigh have extended their lead to 4-0. And there is no way back from this. This is becoming an absolute drubbing again for Oxford City. 4 minutes before half-time. It's Oxford City 0, Eastleigh 4.
Best goal of the game. Good centre forward play. Eastleigh, Quigley, does really well to take the ball down, to be fair to him, but it's too easy for him to do that. I mean, Taylor, good play from him to chest the ball down, and Giles Phillips just doesn't get close enough, and he chests the ball around the City man and then takes his shot first time. Got it. Sent it hard and low past Tom Watson into a good area. Good strike. Game over.
41st minute.
Massively disappointing, this really is. And if Oxford City look like a side that were going down, I'm afraid this is the nadir of that, I'm afraid. They are 4-0 down before half-time, and City will be just hoping beyond all hope to avoid this becoming their heaviest defeat of the season. And they've already lost 7-1, of course, this season. They don't want to be hammered by any more than that, but really that one, actually, Andy, ironically, was a bit against the run of play, that 4th goal, but it just goes to show the quality of this Eastleigh side, doesn't it? Because they soaked up a bit of pressure, soaked up 4 or 5 corners, broke from a free kick and scored number 4.
Yeah, Quigley and McCallum are 2 big physical National League talismanic strikers, if you like, and both have shown that today. I said it just after the goal. Brilliant goal from Quigley. I thought he just did everything right, and City perhaps a little bit naive not to give him as much. Well, he made no room for error, but they gave him room for error. Perhaps he didn't need to do as well as he did, and he probably would have stabbed the shot away anyway.
It's not surprising that they're 4-0 down, and the body language is of a side that are 4-0 down, but one thing City do have to do in the second half, they need to pick this body language up, because at the moment they just look a completely deflated, defeated, pessimistic side. No surprise being 4-0 down, but they need to play for a bit of pride in the second half, because as I said, there is a real danger that this could become the worst performance and the worst defeat of the lot. And there's another chance here, because Quigley's on the air, on with a chance, and he curls the ball towards goal. This time comfortably dealt with by Tom Watson, but Quigley again got in behind the last man. Good timing of his run, and thankfully for City this time it was a pretty tame effort, and Tom Watson managed to hold that one. But what I'm saying, Andy, it's fair to say, isn't it, that they do need to play with some pride now, because the body language at the moment is not great, and it's not surprising. Ross Jenkins is going to have to do all he can to try and pick them up at half-time, just to try and get at least a foothold in the game, if nothing else.
I I think in a sense where it affects morale, that goal was the worst of the lot, because, like you said, City would actually started to come forward and started to ask a few questions of the Eastleigh defence, and then suddenly it's just one ball over the top, good play from Taylor, little chest into Quigley, and it's 4-0, and then any slight hopes of getting back into the game are just completely smothered and disintegrate, and that, again, it's just a killer blow, really, isn't it? And like you say, obviously the body language is pretty bad, because I mean, it's been, well, what more can you say, really? I mean, I think we've said all that needs to be said. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to work out that it's not been good enough. 4-0 down in the first half.
If you can't bear any more, you can listen to Oxford United on 95.2 FM, Freeview Channel 722, and on digital. They're currently level at 1-1 against Northampton Town. So if you've been putting your fingers in the ears and you don't want to hear any more of this game, I wouldn't blame you, to be honest. You can tune into that one and listen to the League One game. 3 minutes of time added on at the end of the first half, which is something else probably that Oxford City didn't want to see, because there hasn't really been many stoppages really in this first half. I think there was one little bit of treatment, but the last thing City needed, similar to what we saw at Dagenham, was a few minutes of injury time. But there's a chance here perhaps for Eastleigh to extend this lead to 5-0 at the break with a free kick here. Ben Reeves over it. He's going to raise his right arm in the air, and it's going to be a left-footed ball in towards the penalty area, curling in towards the back post, headed up into the air and clear. And City haven't cleared their lines, and it's back in possession with Eastleigh again on that right touch line, just in front of the Macron stand. Ball into the box, another header from Scott Quigley, but this time City will be able to clear their lines, or I say they will, but Aaron Williams-Bashal just took a little bit too long over that, and as a result Eastleigh win back possession, because Williams-Bashal just dillied and dallied on the ball and just very cheaply gave the ball back to Eastleigh. And there's going to be a throw in now, and it's probably going to be another long throw. In fact, it's going to be a short one this time. Waboka was just trying to give an option, but now we're waiting for this ball to come into the penalty area, no doubt, from a long throw. And it will be a long throw from McCallum. It's another good one, and that's a really good save from Watson. The header from Waboki, and Tom Watson diving away to his right has prevented it being 5-0. It was a good height for the save, but that was very, very close to 5-0.
I actually missed that one because I was getting the half-time graphic ready, but
good save, really good save. Watson diving away, and now the corner comes in, headed clear, but only as far as another Eastleigh man. They've been really rocked by this one, Oxford City, and now an opportunity perhaps for Eastleigh to get a fifth before the break from the other side, but instead they've gone back into the centre circle, out to this left-hand side to Jake Taylor, the captain. Nice little back heel from Attangana. Eastleigh finishing the half as they began it, in the ascendancy. We've got about 20 seconds to go at the end of this first half. We'll hand you straight back to Jerome at the Kassam Stadium at half-time, where Oxford United are level with Northampton Town 1-1. And City will just be longing for this half-time whistle to blow. Well, to be honest with you, they're probably longing for the ground to open up and swallow them after this frankly shocking first half performance. And Oxford City trail at the break by 4-0.
National League in what is probably going to be pretty much perhaps a standard second half, because Oxford City find themselves 4-0 down to Eastleigh, who are in the orange shirts, shorts and socks. Oxford City in their red? I've lost my head at half-time, as I suppose Ross Jenkins has too. In their blue and white hoops, blue shorts and blue socks. They're now shooting from right to left as we see it from the press box. So Ross Jenkins with that pretty terrible first half performance. He must have had a few choice words to say to his team at half time, so much so he's made a half time change. Levi Lameka is on for the second half. He's been given ago from half time, off Rennie Smith. So he's had to change something, the City boss, and he has made one change. Levi Lameka on for Rennie Smith. Had to make changes at half time, didn't he, Kieran? Because to be fair, Oxford City needed to change something. Unfortunately for Rennie Smith, he's the man to be sacrificed, and Levi Lameka's been adjudged the man to maybe salvage a little bit of pride for Oxford City in this one.
Yeah, and I think Alfie Potter's come on as well. I'm just trying to work out who else has gone off, because Potter's definitely on, number 16.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Actually, I missed that, Kieran. Great eyes. I'm just looking at... Yeah, so Rennie Smith is definitely off for Levi Lameka. I saw that one. Alfie Potter is on for Oxford City, as my co-commentator
I think it
said.
might be Reece Fleet. Oh no,
Reece Fleet's definitely on the field. I'm just looking. It must be another player that was playing behind the striker. Josh Ashby's dropped a little bit deeper. Harvey Greenslade's still on the pitch.
Perhaps got 12 on, Andy.
It's Aaron... Is it Aaron Williams-Bichelle? I think it's Aaron Williams-Bichelle who's made way. Yes, it is in fact. Aaron Williams-Bichelle has made way, and Alfie Potter is on. So a double change at half-time, in fact. So Levi Lameka and Alfie Potter, can they be the men to turn it round for City? Imagine if they could, Kieran. It would be some achievement. It would be perhaps a comeback of all comebacks. But wishful thinking, I know. But who's going to shoot me down for dreaming?
I think betting's been suspended on Eastleigh winning this game, Andy. Surprise, surprise. But all City can hope for really is to try and keep it respectable, really, and try and get a goal or two back if they can. 4-2 maybe doesn't look quite as bad as 4-0 or 5-0, but yeah, Ross Jenkins had to do something, but there's precious little he can do, to be honest, in the light of that pretty abysmal first half, probably the worst first half of the season, I would suggest.
I think you're not. It's been a terrible first half. You're absolutely right, and I think Ross Jenkins may well agree with you with a few rookie errors leading to just goal after goal, but. We're obviously commentating here for BBC Radio Oxford, but I'm sure if you're from an Eastleigh perspective and you're listening in today, you will be absolutely buzzing with that first half performance. What an introduction to the new manager at the helm, Kelvin Davies, the former Southampton keeper. He helped Southampton win promotion from League One all the way up to the Premier League, was there for 10 seasons, got a testimonial at St Mary's. He's local to the area. He said after taking over that it suits him down to the ground. He even said that there was a few clubs that he thought would fit his style when he was getting into the managerial game. Eastleigh was one of them. It was a very quick change as well when Richard Hill was relieved of his duties. Straight away, just a day later, Kelvin Davies installed. But here come Eastleigh. They want a fifth in this one. They'll be wanting to really score a few in this game. Rutherford on the right hand side, darts for the byline, goes head to head with Roddy, and that cross is just left by Eastleigh, and Josh Parker has made a good run here behind the back line, but Josh Ashby's ball is eventually dealt with by the scorer of the third goal, Ludwig Francilete, and in fact it's all the way up to the right channel, and another chance here for Quigley. He's drifted out to the right, drops deep with the ball. There's Oscar Rutherford to accompany him into the captain Taylor. This time Alfie Potter's hot on his heels and eventually gets the ball away, but again it's a mistake, this time from Kabongolo, but he's redeemed himself, the big centre half, the 6'6" centre half. Works the ball over to Greenslade, knocks the ball in front of him, Harvey Greenslade, but that ball runs out for a throw in. Brooklyn Kabongolo making his second start from Oxford City after leaving Southend United. Him, Giles Phillips and Andre Burley are the defenders for Oxford City today. You get the feeling, Kieran, that City are missing we go on about it when he was playing, but Canis Carroll, fantastic centre half for City. He pretty much played every game since he's joined the club, never mind last season in promotion and in this season. And when he went off at half time against Woking, it was a real miss in that game, and it seems to be as well just someone to kind of galvanise the back line. One of the local lads has been pretty much up there as one of City's best players this season. It looks like he could be a real miss going into these final stages of the season, and it's a big job for Brooklyn Kabongolo, Jacob Roddy, Giles Phillips, Andre Burley and whoever's on the back line to play up to those standards as well. They did well on Saturday, but leaving a little bit to be desired this evening, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've gone on quite at length about the injury crisis at the club, and we've alluded to it time and time again. And you have quite rightly said it is what it is. City have to take it on.
There's a chance here, and here comes Taylor, the captain, in on goal. Taylor for a chance, and it is. It's 5-0 Eastleigh, and once again, it's as simple as that. A big long ball forward, which this time Jake Taylor runs onto. He goes in one-on-one with Tom Watson and blasts a right-footed shot past the goalkeeper. And when it rains it pours. I used that phrase against Dagenham, and I use it tonight because it's gone from bad to worse for Oxford City. 52 minutes on the clock, and it's Oxford City 0, Eastleigh 5.
I've got to say kudos to Eastleigh as well today. We've been very down in the dumps about Oxford City's performance, but this has been a terrific performance from the Hampshire side. Unbelievably good performance. Clearly a new manager bounce without a shadow of a doubt, and what a great goal that was. He raced onto that through ball, showed a massive burst of pace, burst into the box, great finish. And for all City's poor play today, you have to praise Eastleigh, because they have looked $1 million this evening.
They won't want to take their foot off the gas. They have an outside shot of the playoffs, Eastleigh. There may be a few raised eyebrows at that comment, but we've seen through the likes of Boreham Wood, Maidenhead earlier in the season, and these teams that string together, well, AFC Fylde at the moment, right at the bottom of the division, but they have hauled themselves out of trouble. Just looking at this goal again, it's actually a fantastic ball from Nigel Attingana, the midfielder, to pick out the run of the veteran midfielder Jake Taylor. He's a really good midfielder, Jake Taylor. He's got the captaincy here at Eastleigh. Formerly, he's used to playing in the EFL. This is the calibre of players that Oxford City are coming up against, formerly of Bristol Rovers and Exeter City, and he is really taking his goal well there. But a brilliant ball from Attingana to bypass everyone there, and it was pretty simple in the end. City have been done by those long balls today, whether they've been crosses or balls that have been sprayed behind the back line. It's been very direct from Ebbsfleet, and Ebbsfleet? I am losing my head. From Eastleigh. From that point, when I say the word direct, I don't mean long ball, but straight to the point. They get the ball, they try and work it forward to the two big strikers in Quigley and McCallum as soon as possible. They don't want to waste any time. They want to get the ball up to them, and today it has paid dividends and some, and it's been a night to forget if you're listening from an Oxford City perspective.
Well, I think they've had 6 shots on goal, 5 goals, 1 fantastic save. And once again, what we've seen this evening is what we've seen so often this year. Sides at this level just take their chances, don't they? And they've taken 5 of their 6 gilt-edged chances. And one of the goals was a bit of a poor piece of defending, but that is where the standards are at this level, isn't it? Eastleigh have taken pretty much everything that's gone their way, and we've seen that so many times this season.
Yeah, I think it's also difficult. I think we saw this after there's almost a Tuesday hangover now from Oxford City. I mean, you look at that when they were beaten by Kidderminster, and they went straight into that Tuesday game against Woking. Oxford City is still part-time. The players will have been at work today. Eastleigh would have had a training session. They'd have had Saturday. They've had a training session before then. They would have regrouped before today, gone through their plan. With Oxford City, it's a little bit different, and I think the league is catching up with them a little bit. They played that game on Saturday against Southend, got a really positive result, and straight away they don't see each other until today, and they've been chucked straight into the deep end here. And it looks as though that Eastleigh, with their new manager bounce and all their bigger preparation, have punished them here. But here is City coming forward through Greenslade. Eventually it's won back by Greenslade off the foot of Oscar Rutherford. Roddy into Potter. Potter's hustled and harried, but will keep the ball. Ashby. Roddy's pushed up the field here. Greenslade takes a touch, then crosses it into Levi Lemeka, but Lemeka can't control the ball inside the area, and it goes out for a goal kick. But what I was saying, Kieran, is that it seems as though that difference between full-time and part-time is catching up with Oxford City. I suppose from the other side of if you've been playing devil's advocate, you could say that Wealdstone, Maidenhead and Dorking are also part-time, but if we're honest, they're struggling a little bit as well now. So is the National League getting a lot tougher for these part-time teams? You're looking at, when you get promoted, you need a lot of a playing budget to give it a real go.
Well, Ross Jenkins described this league a couple of weeks ago in one of his post-matches as League 3. And I think that he's right. It is League 3. It's a professional league. And there's a couple of part-time sides in the professional league. And those are the sides that seem to be struggling. As you mentioned, Dorking, Maidenhead, Wealdstone are all down there as well. I think they're probably, well, certainly Maidstone and Wealdstone I think will still be okay. But yes, City have definitely found out to their cost just how hard this league is, and what a step up it is from the National League South.
It is. There's definitely lessons being learned, which again Ross Jenkins has said, but City needs to learn those lessons quickly. There's a ball in from Roddy, and Joe McDonald was in no man's land there. Jacob Roddy with a left-footed cross / shot towards goal, and Joe McDonnell, I just think, lost his bearings there. He was running wide of the post, thought the ball was dipping into an opposite area than it was, and it almost dipped in by Jacob Roddy. Fortunately for the Eastleigh keeper, and if you're listening from an Eastleigh's perspective, McDonnell got himself back in position to tip it over the crossbar. Almost lost his clean sheet in almost silly fashion there, the Eastleigh goalkeeper. But it's a corner, nevertheless, for Oxford City now. They're 7th of the game, I think this is. And Josh Ashby's going to take it over on that far side. Hand in the air, floated towards goal, looking for an option. Headed away, only as far towards the edge of the box. It looked as though it was bouncing to Fleet, but instead it's found an orange shirt and they look to break away, but they can't. That ball stabbed towards Alfie Potter and City regain possession. It has petered out this game, even with that Jake Taylor goal. You know, the damage has pretty much been done. I think City just need to salvage a bit of pride, really, try and get a goal like they did against Dagenham just a couple of weeks ago, and make that goal difference just a little bit better. Here's Fleet with a chance to do just that. Fleet towards goal. It's not a bad shot actually from Reece Fleet, and the City skipper's shot just curls wide of the post. Joe McDonnell was in a good position that time though, and knew that was going wide, didn't need to dive for it. But that's a lot closer, a lot more of a positive attacking threat though from Oxford City, albeit way too little too late, Kieran.
Well, we've had a shot on target. That's a positive, isn't it? Because I'm not sure it was a shot. I think you're right. I think it was more of a cross that McDonnell just misjudged. But we'll call it a shot on target, Andy, because there's been precious little to shout about from an Oxford City perspective so far in this game.
Absolutely. But City will continue to come forward here and try and find a way back into the game. Here's Reece Fleet. Will bring the ball over the halfway line. Fleet's got to be careful not to get booked today, because if he does, he's on 9 yellow cards. Reece Fleet, a 10th would mean a suspension, and that really would be bad news for Oxford City with all their suspensions and injuries this season, and with results not going their way. They will certainly need every single player back when they can, and a 1-game suspension for Reece Fleet would be almost disastrous from an Oxford City perspective. They need to keep as many players in this bare bones squad as possible. Anyway, in this game, as you can probably tell, even the Eastleigh fans seem to have lost a little bit of interest. They're getting behind their team, they're chanting, but this game was done within the first 12 minutes, which has made it a little bit of a non-event in this second half, unfortunately, because they've been on form and Oxford City haven't. Ball over now to Lee Hodson. Eastleigh playing some good stuff in the middle of the park, but that's well won back by Alfie Potter, who's made an impact since he's come on. He'll bring the ball forward into Levi Lameka, takes a touch inside the box, cuts onto his left, good shot by Levi Lameka, another shot on target, straight into the grateful grasp of Joe McDonnell.
Yeah, good work from Alfie Potter there, found Levi Lameka on the right, good strike. I suppose had the keeper spilt it, there was a possibility of a follow-up there, and Oxford City just having a couple of chances on goal, and they're in the attack again now.
Yeah, they will. And here's Jacob Roddy on the left, cross with Roddy's left foot again, looking towards that back post. But Joe McDonnell has learned his lesson from that lapse in concentration, and you can even probably hear the scream of keeper was perhaps audible, and he smothered that ball. Good challenge from Josh Ashby, gets the ball, but the referee says he's taken the man as well. Attengarner's down holding his leg there. He's been hurt or says he's been hurt. So Josh Ashby's probably going to go into the book here. I don't think it's any more than a yellow card. He did get the ball. Josh Ashby had every right to go for the challenge, but did clip Attingana as well. Let's see what the referee's going to do here.
Just thinking about your comment on Reece Fleet, he did pick up a yellow card, of course, in the first half. So does that mean he will be suspended?
Well, I must have missed that, but if he has picked up a yellow card...
It was the foul on the far side against Solomon
of course,
Boki when he upended him.
You know what? I completely forgot about that. I think I've been so sidetracked by the goals flying in. I've forgotten about that. You're absolutely right. So what Reece Fleet will... unless I'm wrong, and I'm pretty sure he misses Saturday's trip to Gateshead.
I bet he's gutted about that.
I don't think that was tactical, but I tell you what, I think he will be, out of everyone, Reece Fleet, he will be devastated that he's missing any game. He's one of these players that's going to run through brick walls from you. He's perhaps not had his finest game in a City shirt this evening, but it's not through lack of trying. And Oxford City will continue to come forward here to try and bring something back. But every time Eastleigh get the ball and work their way forward, they look like they could score even more goals. And they'll do so now with Rutherford. Cross towards the back stick, and Wabakai will drift out wide to try and keep that ball in play, but can't. Throw into City near the corner flag. But like I was just saying, Eastleigh going to get their first change. And this just goes to show how difficult this league is, because Eastleigh are bringing on Chris Maguire. If you're listening on BBC Radio Oxford, you will be very familiar with Chris Maguire, the former Oxford United man, a cult hero, I think it's safe to say, with Oxford United after his goal scored against Swindon Town. He, a player of his quality, is coming on for Wabakai, and that just shows how tough this game already was for Oxford City at 5-0 down. It's got even tougher because on comes Chris Maguire.
Yeah, you're right about Chris Maguire being a local cult hero. I remember him scoring a goal against Swindon Town and celebrating in front of the Swindon Town fans. That endeared him to the Oxford fans when he did that. And I think he got about 11 or 12 goals for United in his career, but none more important than the ones he got against Swindon Town. And we're having a bit of a break in play here because we've got an injury to an Oxford City man over on the far side. I think it might be Harvey Greenslade.
It is. It's Harvey Greenslade who's down clutching his leg, so we're going to have another pause in play, which it's just going to add more added time on in the second half, and it just makes that stay of execution for Oxford City just a little bit worse. I think he's just taken a whack in the face here, Harvey Greenslade. He's just, checking his arm on his nose just to make sure he's not bleeding. Just took a little whack there, I think. Nothing given from the referee apart from a drop ball to continue play with the Eastleigh defenders. And Franchiletti will get the play back underway. Here's Rutherford. Ball down the right. Maguire will have his first touch of the game, and that's not a great touch from Maguire, and that pass goes out of play for a throw into Oxford City. I actually asked about I was speaking to the Eastleigh media team before the game, and it did raise a few eyebrows that a player of the calibre of Chris Maguire was on the bench today, and I did ask them. I said that surprised me, and they said it was just tactical. It was a decision made by Kelvin Davies as his first as manager, so it perhaps shows that the new gaffer at Eastleigh isn't afraid to make big calls, and with the way that his first game's going, you probably back him to the hill with the way he started. Rutherford, brilliant ball around the corner. Maguire will latch onto that, will he? But Kabongolo gets both the man and the ball, but ultimately wins City a throw in, which Roddy takes to Fleet. Plays the ball around a tight area. Ashby, City still penned into their own half here. Ashby, ball into Parker, will pin Franchiletti, but Franchiletti does well to stand up to the Parker challenge. And you know what, Kieran, we are the biggest instigators of we're the biggest Josh Parker fan club probably members in terms of when it comes to him getting free kicks and not getting his just rewards. But I think Franchiletti won the ball perfectly fairly there, and Josh Parker was doing everything he usually does as a striker, pinning himself into the back of the Eastleigh defender, but the Eastleigh defender did well not to foul him that time. Hands weren't in his back, and he managed to just clip the ball forward to find another orange shirt, so good play there. But now it's flicked on by McCallum, who's on a hat-trick in this game, by the way, into Quigley, but Quigley is a poor touch from the Eastleigh striker and goes out for a throw-in. 65 minutes on the clock. Oxford City 0, Eastleigh 5 here at the Royal Charging Stadium. It's been a really bad night from an Oxford City perspective. Meanwhile, at the Kassam, it's still Oxford United 1, Northampton Town 1. If you want to listen to that game, that's on Freeview channel 722 or on your digital radio on 95.2 FM. Jerome on the team will bring you the rest of that game in League One. 3 points up for grabs for them this evening. Meanwhile, more bad news locally. There's been another goal, and Banbury United have gone 2 goals down. Alfreton, so not good news there either. And as we approach the second half of this second half, I'll pass you on to my co-commentator Kieran Bushnell.
Thank you very much. And we got a shot from distance from Josh Ashby from 25 yards out with my first words of the second half commentary, and it's flashed just wide. The goalkeeper Joe McDonald diving away to his right. We saw a similar effort from Ashby on Saturday which rattled the bar. That one was really powerfully struck, but it's flashed wide, and Oxford City still trail by 5-0. And it could soon be 6 because there's an opportunity here to get the ball in the penalty area, headed away by Cabangolo though. And Oxford City will come away with the ball. Reese Fleet clears the ball up over the halfway line, looking for Harvey Greenslade. He's controlled the ball quite well there, Greenslade. He's got a couple of Eastleigh men for company though. Gets himself almost into the box. The ball breaks kindly to substitute Alfie Potter, who gets the ball out to the left-hand side to Jacob Roddy, who gets the ball across the face of goal, but 3 Eastleigh players closing down Andre Burley up there, and then an opportunity has gone again, and now Reese Fleet picks up the ball in the centre of the park, finds Potter. Potter has got Greenslade to the left on the touchline. He's going to advance towards goal, then find Greenslade on this left side. Greenslade back in to Ashby, back to Greenslade again. He's been reasonably decent in his opening games for Oxford City, and certainly hasn't looked out of place in this side. Giles Phillips chests the ball down after the clearance from an Eastleigh man and finds Ashby in his yellow boots. In field to Alfie Potter. Potter tries to thread the ball through to Levi Lemecca, but cut out again, and then there's a foul there against Josh Ashby on Solomon Waboki, and it's going to be a free kick to Eastleigh. And we have 22 minutes to go in this game. I won't repeat the score too many times this evening, but it's Oxford City 0, Eastleigh 5. And at the Castan, Oxford United 1, Northampton Town 1. That is on 95.2, Freeview channel 722, and on digital. As the goalkeeper McDonald gets the game back underway, and a good through ball, but the flag goes up for offside this time. Bit of a direct approach there from Eastleigh, a long ball, but the flag goes up, and now City looking to come away with it themselves. Ashby in the centre of the field receives the ball from Roddy, out to the left-hand side to Phillips. Through ball to Parker, who's running onto this one into the edge of the penalty area. He's forced a little bit wide though, and then he brings down the Eastleigh man. Head in hands, Josh Parker, can't believe it, but it's another free kick to the visitors in front of the now pretty deserted Macron stand. There was a few more in there in the first half, and this is going to be another free kick to the visitors, and we're going to see the final substitution for Oxford City, and it looks like Lewis Coyle is coming on, and making way is Jacob Roddy. So a slightly attacking change, I guess. A left-sided attacking midfielder coming on for Jacob Roddy.
Number 7, Lewis Coyle, is replacing number 6.
Not an awful lot Lewis Coyle can do in this game to bring any sort of satisfaction to these Oxford City supporters who've witnessed an absolute drubbing this evening.
Yeah, it's not getting any better locally. At Alfreton, Banbury down to 10 men, so not going well, 2-0 down, and now with 10 men in that game, does not get better locally, does it?
No, the new manager bounce at Banbury hasn't lasted long, has it? One game. They beat Scarborough with their first game, and ever since they haven't picked up anything. Lost at Buxton on Saturday, and looks like they're going to be going down to another defeat today. They're at home to South Shields on Saturday. while you're a little bit further away up at Gateshead. Banbury will be hosting South Shields, who are playoff chasers in the National League North. I think all Banbury can really hope for this season is to try and stay up, and who knows, there could be some derby games against Oxford City next season, because in all likelihood, early days to say this, it depends obviously how things finish, but in all likelihood we could be seeing Oxford City going into National League North next season, with all the travelling that comes with that, which will be a lot of trips north, Andy, if that happens.
I think Ross Jenkins will still believe that he can keep these up. I mean, it might not seem like that, but whenever I speak to Ross after the game, he's always, win, lose or draw, he's very level-headed. He takes things, he analyses every minute detail. He still believes, and I think that's what he's trying to instill that with his players. It just makes it more difficult on nights like tonight. Yeah.
Now there's a cross into penalty area, and Tom Watson has a bit of a flap at that one. It's gone over the bar. Yes, he does still believe it's. In fact, it's gone offside anyway. He may still believe, Andy, but the question for me is, do these players still believe? Because there's only 33 points left. They're cast adrift at the bottom. Their away record is terrible. They've only got 5 home games left, and they're running out of time massively.
I think so. I think today's been a night to forget. And it might not seem like that, and I might get a few pelters for saying so, but I think they do. I think these lads, and if they don't, I'll pause here, because here comes City.
Yep, Potter to Parker. Parker's got Greenslade to his left, but cleared away, and there is a goal for City, and it's Alfie Potter has pulled one back for Oxford City. It's going to be a consolation only. But the ball in from Parker, and Alfie Potter was there in the centre of the 18-yard box, and he's drilled it underneath the goalkeeper, Joe McDonnell, who no doubt will be pretty furious that he's not going to be keeping a clean sheet. But City do have their consolation goal with 18 minutes to go.
It just seems that when City find the net more often than not. I mean, even with Dagenham, when it was looking pretty bleak, they found the net for a decent goal, and they've done so again. But yeah, great finish actually from Alfie Potter. I was actually thinking, what was Josh Parker doing? He took the ball down really well, and I was like, wow, shoot, hit it across goal. Decided against it. Instead, picked up his head, found Alfie Potter. Really, really good move, good goal. Too little, too late, yes, but a little bit to be cheerful about from an Oxford City perspective. And to flip it, Joe McDonnell must be fuming with his defenders, because he was hoping for a nailed-on clean sheet.
Yeah, it wasn't great defending, to be honest, but it is a consolation for City. Now is a chance for maybe City to get another goal, because Josh Ashby's laid the ball across to Potter again, and it's just over the bar this time. But all of a sudden, City have got their mojo back at 5-1. But that one is a goal kick. It's gone over the crossbar.
Yeah, I think for all the good stuff he did for that first goal, but Alfie Potter could have done a little bit better with that shot. I thought perhaps he could have hit it first time then. Did well to move it onto his left foot. Way over the bar. Wasn't really testing Joe McDonnell, but again, like you say, they found the mojo now. Comebacks on maybe for 16 minutes to get. Could they get 4 goals?
Probably not. I think it was a case in point that the goal that Alfie Potter scored was greeted with just a ripple of applause. No cheering, no histrionics from anybody, just a little ripple of applause. And not even I got excited, which is very unusual for me, isn't it, Andy? Because I do tend to shout and scream when Oxford City score a goal. But yeah, it was a good finish. It was a good cross from Parker. Actually, he opted for the safer option, if you like. He had a chance to shoot at goal himself, but found Alfie Potter in a better position, and it was a smart finish underneath the body of Joe McDonnell. But now City have got defending to do again, because there's a free kick to the visitors just about 10 yards, 15 yards inside the Oxford City half of the field. It's a long ball into the penalty area, headed back across goal and headed up into the air and out of play for a corner by Cabangolo, and it's a corner to Eastleigh. And we saw these corners in the first half. They didn't have too many of them, but they had 3, I think, in the first half, and some dangerous crosses in there, and we'll have to have a look to see if City can defend their lines this time.
Yeah, they're threatening, and Eastleigh are going to make another change, but not just yet. And I tell you what, Paul McCallum will want a hat-trick. He will be eager to get that.
In comes the corner then, floating into the back to the centre of the 6-yard box, headed back and then slammed back in with purpose by an Eastleigh man, but City clear their lines to Alfie Potter. Potter turns, and now the ball. Now there's a foot chase here with Levi Lemeka going down the right hand side, and Lewis Coyle's got into the penalty area, as has Harvey Greenslade, and the ball's crossed in, but it's going to be comfortable this time for McDonald. That was a really good counter-attack there from City. You know, they are 5-1 down, but they turned a defence into attack there with a really good move down the right-hand side.
Yeah, great ball from Josh Ashby to find Levi Lemeka in the right channel like he did. You know, it's really impressive. But I just think it's again it's good stuff from City, but it's just come when Eastleigh can take their foot off the gas, and the game's been playing at a half pace. It's been a little bit of a shame because it's been a really weird game, hasn't it? I mean, those 3 goals inside the first 10 minutes doing the job, and then from then it's been a bit of a non-event and a bit of a training game almost.
Just about to say, you took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to describe it as. It feels like a pre-season training game at the moment, but City on the attack again. Harvey Greenslade just gets himself to the edge of the penalty area, finds Lewis Coyle. Greenslade goes down under no challenge, just slips on this 3G surface. Reece Fleet with a chance to have a crack from distance, and McDonald just fumbles it briefly, and Josh Parker was just waiting to see if the rebound could come out to him, but McDonald claimed it at the second attempt and snuffed out any chance at all that Parker was going to get his foot to the ball and stab home a second goal for City. Still 1-1 at the Castad. Oxford United 1, Northampton Town 1, and Banbury United still trailing at Alfreton Town by 2-0 and a man down as well. Brackley Town trailing at home to Kings Lynn. That's a bit of a shock result. Kings Lynn in the relegation zone. Brackley Town trying to get to the playoffs, but they're 2-1 down at St James Park. Are they going to blow the playoffs again? Because that would be a bit of a surprise result if Kings Lynn could hold on there. Long ball over to the right hand side looking for Levi Lemeka, but it's going to go over his head and out of play for a throw. And now we will see this substitution, and it actually will be the 2-goal man going off. So I'm not sure Paul McCallum will be particularly pleased with that, but
No, I don't even want to look at the fourth official's board. I don't blame him, to be fair, because he'll be desperate to get his hat-trick. I mean, look, he looks a bit fed up actually.
Eastleigh, number 11, Enzio
Baldwin coming on for Paul McCallum, who really showed his worth, didn't he, with those 2 goals, a couple of poachers' goals, and not many strikers are going to miss them, but he was just in the right place at the right time, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that's what good strikers do. They get into those positions, and that's why Paul McCallum's done so well in this division over the years. I mean, he scored goals wherever he's been. He was hotly tipped when he started his career at West Ham. Didn't quite work out for him then, but he's made a real career out for himself in the National League. I mean, this is his second spell at Eastleigh. It's his 100th appearance today. He's got 2 goals to also cement his place at the top of the National League goal scoring charts. It's 25 for the season there as well, so it just makes his case for the Golden Boot even better.
Good ball through from Lemeka, and Harvey Greensay bursts in the penalty area. McDonald comes from his line, takes no prisoners there and clears it. No nonsense really there from the Eastleigh goalkeeper. Playing a bit of devil's advocate here, it's possible that the substitution is just to sort of protect the striker, because the game is won and they don't want to pick up any unnecessary injuries, Eastleigh, in maybe their late playoff bid. Greenslade got Lewis Coyle down the left hand side and finds Coyle just looking for an option to get the ball into the penalty area, gets the ball across the face of goal, and Levi Lemeka at the back post, gone over his head actually, and it's out of play for a goal kick.
It was a bad ball from Lewis Coyle, I thought, that into a good area, but yeah,
could have done with Cabangola at the end of it rather than Levi Lemeka perhaps.
Yeah, a little bit. It was into a good area, but Levi Lemeka, I think, wanted it into a different area. I think Coyle just darted to the byline and knew what he wanted to do it straight away. But Lemeka just I think they're on different wavelengths there. 10
minutes to go plus stoppage time then. I'm not going to repeat the score, you'll be pleased to know. All we'll say is City have got a bit of work to do in this game. And at the Castad it remains 1-1. If you're looking for that one for the last 10 minutes, 95.2 FM, Freeview channel 722 and DAB digital radio. City may have a little bit of defending to do now, because there's a chance here from Solomon Boki, but it's pinged around the area, and then Watson picks up the ball and bowls the ball out first time, and Greenslade into Coyle. Coyle looking for an option in front of him, and he's got Josh Parker well offside, and he's going to put the ball into the back of the net, but this time he was definitely offside by probably 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. Complain about Saturday, when they were beating. Sorry about that, I had my microphone on mute. Yeah, complain about Saturdays though. That was definitely offside, but. Yeah, I mean, even with Saturday, I mean, that decision, I mean, it's basically robbed Oxford City of 2 extra points. I mean, even that, and with tonight's result, you're in a much better position. It's those games that need to go your way. But like I was saying before, I don't think Oxford City's players will give up, even if it carries on in this manner. They'll treat every game as it comes. They'll try and play the way they can do every game. They will stick to their mantra, they'll stick to their beliefs, and they will try and give a good account of themselves as we go on. It's always going to be an uphill battle. Even before a ball was kicked, everyone nailing them on to finish bottom of the league, and they are bottom of the league at the moment, and that's exactly where everyone tipped them to be. So it just shows that, you know,
but is that just not a little bit of a defeatist sort of attitude? Everybody tipped them to be there. I don't think any of the Oxford City players backed themselves to be there. They thought they'd be in this game and in this league.
No, but I think if you looked at Oxford City when you have your ideal team, I mean, this team has been completely ripped apart from injuries. I think you look at the minutes that Zach McEachran, Josh Ashby and Reece Fleet have played all together on the pitch, a key component, a key trio of the team that won the National League South playoffs and did so well last season. They've played together for not even 90 minutes. I'll pause because here comes City.
Yep, Josh Parker on the left-hand side. I'll give you an update from the Kassam Stadium in a moment. Parker to Ashby. Ashby's on the edge of the box. He could have had an option to shoot, but he was closed down well. Andre Burley turns in the middle of the field and out to the left-hand side again to Lewis Coyle. Coyle with a left-footed ball into the penalty. A little back flick from Alfie Potter towards Josh Parker, but it's going to be cleared upfield. Oxford United now leading at the Castad by 2-1 with 10 minutes to go there. So that's good news. We've got some good news from the Kassam Stadium.
Yeah, but what I was saying is I don't think it's defeaters. I just think it's realist. I think we've got to remember the size of the budgets that Oxford City are playing with, and with all those injuries and whatever chucked into the mix, it's difficult, and they've found it difficult. They're learning lessons. I'll pause again.
With a chance, and the referee has given a penalty. And it was Alfie Potter was fouled there in the penalty area, and City have got a penalty. I didn't quite see what happened there. Was his heels clipped or was he pulled back? I wasn't 100% sure because I'm just looking. Thank you. I was just looking through the pylon here in the press box, and it's perfectly placed for me to actually not see exactly what happened there. But it's a handball penalty then, so a chance then for Oxford City to get another one back and make it look a little bit more respectable. And it's Josh Parker who will take this penalty against the Eastleigh goalkeeper Joe McDonnell. And Parker, with both hands on his hips, will look to reduce the arrears a little bit further with 9 minutes or 6 minutes to go plus a bit of stoppage. So probably 10 minutes to go in total here at the Royal Charging Stadium. Referee just making sure that the box is cleared. Parker still with his hands on his hips, and McDonnell making himself look big. Parker takes 3 or 4 steps and he drives it over the bar, and that was a shocking penalty, to be fair, and that really does sum up Oxford City's day, because that penalty, that was going aerial from the moment it left Josh Parker's foot. Sums it up.
Yeah, sums it up. I mean, Josh Parker just looks in the air. He wants the ground to swallow him up. And, yeah, I mean, what more can you say? I think that, you know, didn't even hit the target. It's a poor penalty. And Josh Parker will be kicking himself, because he's usually he's the coolest man in the ground. I remember him just a couple of weeks ago burying a pressure penalty against Kidderminster when the crowd behind the net were baying for his blood almost.
He doesn't miss many, does he? But that does sum things up to a T, really. And yeah, it was an opportunity perhaps to to just make it a little bit more sort of, well, less, if you like, less embarrassing, if you like, but yeah, really poor penalty from Parker, and it just sums up what has been a really poor evening. City, though, still in possession with a throw-in right in front of us on this left touchline. Coyle into Parker. Parker runs into trouble, and it's going to go out of play to Oxford City's advantage with a throw-in right down in their half the field, and Cabangolo takes it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Tom Watson. Long ball over the top, a bit of an aimless one. Alfie Potter's not going to chase that one down. It's going to go through to the other goalkeeper, McDonnell. And I don't think I've seen Parker miss many, if any, penalties, Andy, but when it's not your day, it's just not your day, is it?
No, I think he's hit the nail on the head. It's been a really disappointing night for Oxford City. They've not been at the races, and again, it's one of them where City take one step forward with I thought was a really good point against Southend, and then they usually take 2 steps back, and that's what they've done tonight with a pretty feeble response against Eastleigh tonight. And but you know, that kick from Parker wasn't good. Nothing really more needs to be said about it. He'll know that more than anyone. I don't think Ross Jenkins will even contemplate that penalty miss. It's not had any say on the game. I mean, you just said it before, Kieran. If it goes in, it makes it 5-2, and what's really a difference? 1 goal difference. Could that be a difference in April? Probably not. But you know, that's I don't think Ross Jenkins will even mention that. I think he'll just let that go.
Well, we're heading towards the last 3 minutes. I'm dreading to think what the fourth officials board is going to say. Let's hope it's not too many minutes, because we don't want the agony to be extended much further. But City in the attack again at the moment. Alfie Potter having a bit of a tussle there with Oscar Rutherford, and then it's cleared up the line to Quigley. Quigley being held by Cabangolo, so he goes infield to Atangana. Atangana with a little bit of an aimless ball this time, but Scott Reeves does his best to try and keep it in. In fact, he does well to keep it in, and now there's a chance perhaps for the visitors to get their ball into the penalty area for one more shot at goal. And let's hope that we don't see another goal from an Oxford City perspective, but from an Eastleigh perspective, they've been outstanding this evening. And yes, in the second half possibly they've taken their foot off the gas a little bit, because they haven't needed to press like they were in the first half, but you can't take anything away from Eastleigh this evening. It's been a terrific performance and a real fillip for all the Eastleigh supporters that are here, and Eastleigh supporters no doubt watching at home.
Yeah,
you know, we've got to give them a lot of credit for how they performed today.
100%. I would argue, I don't think they've been outstanding. I think they've been good. I don't think they've been outstanding. I don't think they've had to. I don't think they've needed to be. I think they've been good. They took the 3 chances, and that's it. And they've done really well, and they deserve heaps of praise, because they've got the job done within 12 minutes. They've seen the game out professionally. Yeah, they'll be a bit annoyed that they've conceded a goal, but they've done what's needed to be done. They've not needed to be absolutely unbelievable. They started quick. They scored 3 goals, and they've done a really professional job on Oxford City. So fair play to Eastleigh. They do deserve those plaudits, because it is. I think it's a very fair scoreline as well as match result.
We'll agree to disagree a little bit though. I think the first 20 minutes they blew City away and they were outstanding. But yes, you're quite right. The last sort of 40 minutes or so, it has been a little bit going through the motions. But as you said, they haven't needed to do any more. But I think that first 20 minutes of the game, which blew Oxford City, well, first 10 minutes of the game actually, they were every bit as good as the Gateshead side that we saw earlier in the season. Yes, they have taken their foot off the gas. Yes, they've probably not been massively on the front foot in the second half, but
yeah,
but the scoreline reads 5-1.
Yeah, they started well. Cross in the 12 minutes. Cross came in, tapped home by McCallum. Then an error from the back from City. The goalkeeper Tom Watson smacking it into Cabangolo's head, which bounced out, and Quigley did well to react, and then a corner. So I think Ross Jenkins will be seen. I think that's what he'll say. I think he'll try and put the spotlight on his team and what he could do better. But it's been professional from Eastleigh. That's certainly the case.
5 minutes of time added on at the end of this second half, which isn't quite as bad as the 7 we had at Dagenham. So 5 minutes to go for City to try and hold on to not conceding any more. and they've defended well there with Giles Phillips coming away with the ball, but then he gives it away, almost treads on the ball, and it's a throw-in to the visitors. McCallum has left the field, so the long throw from McCallum will not be coming into the box, so they go short into the corner, well, not into the corner really, sort of level with the edge of the penalty area, and just slowly creeping up the line, Eastleigh. United still leading 2-1 against Northampton. They've gone into stoppage time there as well, so good news from the yellow side of the city. If they can hold on to pick up that 3 points, that'll make it, I think, 6 games unbeaten for United, as the ball goes back to McDonnell in the Eastleigh goal, who under a little bit of pressure just calmly plays the ball out to Lee Hodson, and then a long ball over the top looking for Quigley to chase onto. The assistant's flag though goes up as Quigley was in an offside position as the ball came over the top.
Tight. It was a tight decision. I'm not sure it was.
Well, we've seen a few tight decisions over the last couple of weeks, but that one was given in favour of Oxford City. Now Josh Ashby, can City just pull one more back before the end? Reece Fleet finds Coyle on this left touchline. Coyle's got Parker in front of him, he's got Josh Ashby inside him, goes to Ashby. Ashby finds the skipper Reece Fleet. Fleet back to Ashby again. Parker advancing forward, and then there's a chance into the penalty area with Lewis Coyle. Coyle with a crack from distance. That's a terrific save. That is a really good save from the goalkeeper McDonnell there, because that was angling into the top corner. Still hasn't been cleared, and now it has been. And a really good save there from McDonnell right at the death. Lewis Coyle having a crack from the edge of the penalty area, and McDonnell getting a fingertip to it and tipping it onto the angle of bar and post. And now we've got a free kick to Oxford City in Josh Ashby territory, about 28 yards from goal, and this will almost certainly be a crack from Josh Ashby. But that was a really good save, Andy, from the goalkeeper. He hasn't had an awful lot to do today, but when he's called upon there, he's pulled out a bit of a worldie.
Yeah, fantastic shot from Coyle to get so much power and precision on that strike. But yeah, equally matched by Joe McDonnell to just tip it onto the crossbar. Fantastic save. He'll be a bit gutted he hasn't got his clean sheet now after a save like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ashby over this free kick. We're into the fourth minute now of time out on. Ashby tries to chip the ball over. Alfie Potter blocked, and can easily clear it. Handball appeal there. Referee says no, but Reece Fleet picks up the loose ball. Giles Phillips into Levi Lemeka, and Oxford City have scored a second. Levi Lemeka has tucked that one in. Bit of poor defending possibly from Eastleigh, and Levi Lemeka gets his first goal for the club, and they do reduce the arrears and they do make it a little bit more respectable. It's Oxford City 2, Eastleigh 5.
Good finish by Levi Lemeka as well. Brilliant ball played into him, and he was just cool, calm and composed, knew where the net was and lifted it over Joe McDonnell. You just got to think, if Josh Parker had scored that penalty, it would have been 5-3 and it wouldn't have looked as bad. Still wouldn't have made a difference. But yeah, fantastic goal from Levi Lemeka. Nice tidy finish. Another little positive from this game.
Just had a text message from somebody. The comeback is on. I think not, but why not stay positive? 1 minute to go in the second half here with the stoppage time, and now is there a chance possibly for another goal as Harvey Greenslade bursts into the penalty area? No, because he's fouled his man, and it's a free kick to the visitors. What a crazy end to this game, because in the last 3 or 4 minutes Oxford City have scored one, missed a penalty, had Lewis Coyle forcing a great save. That's 3 gilt edge chances. They could have been 5-4 unbelievably.
It's mental, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's what I was saying though. Case in point, when Oxford City do concede, there's a chance they go and concede another couple. But then if they keep it tight, they keep it 1, maybe even 2 goals, they can work their way back into games. It's not worked out that way today. Ross Jenkins will be far from happy. I don't think any of the bench have even celebrated any of the goals, no. Even the awarding of the penalty. So yeah, wouldn't like to be Ross Jenkins tonight, but City have at least brought the game to. They have salvaged a bit of pride, a tiny bit anyway.
A tiny bit, yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't look quite so bad as 5-0, does it? And yeah, but for that mad 3 or 4 minutes at the start of the first half, who'd have known? But anyway, we're into the time added on after stoppage time now, and that is the final whistle. Referee James Durkin blows the whistle, and it's finished here at the Royal Charging Stadium. Oxford City 2, Eastleigh 5. Oxford City's next game is a real tough one. They're all really tough, but it's a really tough trip as well, all the way up the M1 and the A1M to the northeast to Gateshead. And we've said it before, Andy, after that Dagenham defeat, which they did put behind them with the 0-0 draw against Southend, they have to put this behind them and go up to Gateshead and try and give them as good as they can and see where the land lies and see what they can pull out of the bag.
Yeah, and then we'll rinse and repeat that for the rest of the season. Not a day to remember at all for Oxford City. But they have to keep going, they have to reset. We'll use that one game at a time mantra again. We've used it on commentary. That's what Ross Jenkins' side have to do. If they won today, they'll have to put it behind them and go again. They have to do that. They have to put it behind them. They'll have a couple of training sessions before. One training session before Saturday, and they've got to go again. They've got to show real grit to put this result behind them, because they've had two hammer blows in terms of the defeats against Dagenham and Eastleigh in their last two. I mean, shoring up the defence is a minimum. But that's what they've got to do.
Yeah, Andy, we'll get the thoughts of Ross Jenkins after this one a little bit later on. You can catch that on the morning bulletins as well, so please tune into that and see what the thoughts of Ross Jenkins are. But the final score here from the Royal Charging Stadium on a night to forget for Oxford City, another night to forget for Oxford City. It's finished Oxford City 2, Eastleigh 5. We will hand you back very shortly to Jerome and the team at the Castad, and there's bad news there as well, with 5 minutes of stoppage time gone. Northampton Town have equalised, so it's not been a very good night for Oxfordshire football. I'll hand you back now to Jerome and the team at the Castad Stadium.